A reporter just confronted Donald Trump and got him to admit that Americans are actually the ones paying for tariffs. After lying about how other countries foot the bill, Trump finally slipped up, and his excuse for it is completely ridiculous. The internet is completely roasting him for this pathetic justification, and it might be one of the clearest examples yet of how his entire economic plan is a complete scam. So stick around to see Trump's embarrassing moment in full, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Now, Trump's press conference was absolutely insane today. In fact, it was actually way more eventful than normal because someone literally collapsed in the middle of it.
And creating high-value jobs. But today, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
Press out. Press. We're going. Thank you, press. Press. Right, guys. Cameras. We're done rolling. Cameras. Thank you, guys.
After this happened, an image of Trump has been circulating, and people are calling this a very defining moment of his presidency, because it's just so poetic to what we are going through as a country. And this is proven even more by the far-right network Newsmax, whose first response to this emergency was to make it about Trump.
So you're looking live right now. President Trump, we want to be clear, is okay. We know that Dr. Oz, there was some sort of medical emergency.
Now, after they got everything settled, they just continued right where they left off, basically as if nothing happened, which again is just so poetic to the Trump administration as a whole. But moving on to the actual content of this press conference, Trump was having more cognitive decline as he tries to do math and fails miserably.
But now we're cutting at 1,000%, 1,200%. Nobody's ever said anything like this. Nobody else could have done it, but I say that modestly. It's $17 trillion right now. We're going to be at $21 trillion, about $21 trillion by the time I've finished my first year. Biden, as an example, the Biden administration was at less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be at $21 trillion for 1 year. In the history of the world, there's never been a country that's done that. Not China, not the U.S., not anybody. And a lot of that is because of the tariffs and the fact that the president is a competent president that knows how.
Trump spent a lot of time today talking about tariffs, and basically everything that came out of his mouth was a complete lie. For example, he was bragging about his new deal with China, where they agreed to buy 12 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans this year.
To the table, they talk. We made a wonderful deal for everybody. Our farmers, as you know, with the soybeans at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were able to make phenomenal deals. If we didn't have the tariffs, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So we thought we did very well yesterday. We hope that we did.
Trump says that if we didn't have the tariffs, he wouldn't have been able to make that deal. But here's the thing, this deal is worse than what they normally buy anyway. Trump halved our soybean sales and is parading it as this masterful deal. And sure, China did agree to buy 25 million metric tons annually over the next 3 years, but that is still less than what they were buying before. In 2024, during Biden's term, they bought almost 27 million. So this trade deal that Trump is so proud of is still worse than while under Biden. Another thing that Trump has been claiming is that the tariffs have been ending wars, which is just a complete and utter lie. Take a look at this.
And I use them for national defense. Of the 8 wars I ended, I would say 5 or 6 were ended because of tariffs. I'll give you an example. If you take a look at India and Pakistan, they started to fight. They're 2 nuclear nations. They were shooting each other. 8 planes were shot down. There was 7, now it was 8, because the one that was sort of shot down is now abandoned. And 8 planes were shot down. And I said, listen, if you guys are going to fight, I'm going to put tariffs on you.
How anyone can take Trump seriously is completely beyond me, which is why this reporter finally confronted Trump and asked him if he agreed with the facts that Americans pay for these tariffs. And Trump admitted it. He said that, yeah, sure, Americans pay for it, but the benefits gained far outweigh the costs for everyday Americans. And just listen to this big benefit that Trump is claiming that we get.
If we didn't have tariffs, we would be unable to defend ourselves.
So then do you agree then that Americans are paying those tariffs?
I think, no, I don't agree. I think that They might be paying something, but when you take the overall impact, the Americans are gaining tremendously. They're gaining through national security. Look, I'm ending war because of these tariffs. Americans would have to fight in some of these wars.
That's right. Trump says that the cost of tariffs are worth it for Americans because we don't have to fight in these imaginary wars that he says he's preventing. How insane is that? This reporter just got Trump to admit that we not only pay for the tariffs, but that we also don't gain anything in return. And you know what I find so funny about this? Trump is admitting that tariffs are basically just a tax on Americans. Because sure, we might not be ending wars with tariffs, but that money is still going back to the government, which means that they have more money to spend on things. Unluckily for us, Trump isn't spending it on any good things, but that essentially makes tariffs one big tax on the American people. And look, I'm all for raising taxes on the richest Americans, so that way we can have better social programs for everyone. But you know who hates higher taxes across the board? Republicans. But do you know who loves Trump's tariffs? MAGA Republicans. Trump literally tricked Republicans into begging for more taxes. You can't make this stuff up. Now, there's one more thing from this press conference that I wanted to mention, because it's actually pretty important. A reporter was sucking up to Trump and asked him about the new Walmart report that said that the traditional Thanksgiving meal would cost 25% less this year compared to last year, which isn't true, and I'll fact check that here in a second, but first take a look at what Trump had to say.
Achievement for your administration, targeting the segment of our population that needs it the most, that has the highest obesity rates. You're making it affordable. You are truly saving lives. That's coming from the viewers that we've had in that 1 hour that we took a little bit of a break. My question to you is, Walmart just pushed out a report that says this year's traditional Thanksgiving meal will cost 25% less than it did under the Biden administration, plus gas prices being down in the $2 region makes it more affordable to travel to grandma's house this Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. And it's not so much a question, it's a statement. I would have made the statement, but we have a lot of things happening, so I wouldn't necessarily have made it right now. So Walmart, to me, that's AAA, came out that nobody going to influence them. I don't know them. But they just came out with a very powerful statement. They've done it for many years, that under the Biden administration, a Thanksgiving meal with all the trimmings cost 25% more. In other words, our Thanksgiving this year coming up will cost 25% less than sleepy Joe Biden's. Now, to me, that's better than anything there is. That's better than a poll. They've got everything included, from the trimmings and from the turkey and from everything, a lot of different items. It's 25% less this year than it was last year when he was so-called in charge. He wasn't in charge. The people around the desk were in charge. The auto pen was in charge.
This is one of those things that makes for a really good talking point, but when you actually take the time to look into the facts, it is just a complete lie. A quick Google search is all that it took to learn why the price in that report had gone down. Walmart's 2025 holiday meal contains only 15 items, while the company's 2024 holiday meal included 29 items. This year's basket mixes multiple Thanksgiving staples, including pecan pie, cranberry sauce, whipped cream, mini marshmallows, corn muffin mix, as well as fresh sweet potatoes, celery, and onions. Additionally, many of the name brand items have been replaced by Walmart's Great Value items. So not only did Walmart remove things from their list, they also changed out the name brand for the Walmart brand, probably because the name brand prices went up more. Now, if they cut all of that out and it's still only just 25% lower than last year, then I think that's all the proof you need to see that prices are going up. And I have to say, shame on Walmart for releasing this report. They knew that Trump would run with this because it makes him look good, and it's very disappointing that they are purposely trying to mislead people with false narratives. And if you agree, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.